on a hike. And of course I can't do a countdown, so it takes a few minutes to see if anyone's out there in the wild able to tune in. But I hope you're doing well if you catch the replay, if I keep it up. So I thought maybe we can test the mic whilst also the Q&A if anyone shows up. It wasn't planned, spontaneous. It's that spontaneous, no one's here still. Oh, we maybe got one viewer. So just testing the mic on a hike, semi-hike, and maybe a Q&A if we actually get people tuning in. Usually my streams are planned every Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific. But today is a spontaneous stream. So let me know in the chat. How do I find the chat? Oh, there we go. Linda's here. Hey, Linda. How does the audio sound? I'm holding it this time. But it's a little bit breezy, so I don't know if this thing will help. Oh, hey, Mark. How you doing? Mina is here as well. Oh, good. So this is a semi-residential hike, which I occasionally do. I've got to drive to get here, but it's kind of nice. It's like a big loop. So I'm going to try and do 4 miles at the moment. But I figured, as we test the mic, if you've got any questions about anything, I've got to learn how to hold. So back in the day on Facebook, when they first rolled Facebook Lives to like pages, and you had to have over X amount of people, I used to have like 300 people show up. And I'd go live Monday to Friday, 5 p.m, taking little Sebastian out for a walk, just wandering the streets. Now, being the elderly gentleman he is, we can't do that anymore. But I figured maybe we'll be test YouTube on the live. So any questions about anything? There was something weird over here actually. I'll try and find it when I see it. I might have passed it now. And I've got to look on the floor in case there's rattlesnakes, which I don't see. I can. It's got this battery right here. Okay, this. But when I did it, I don't want to drop the battery. Battery. What am I talking about? A magnet. There we go. So now it's clipped in there. Oh, just me falling. You see, kind of pushes down a little bit there. Yeah, me and little Sebastian patrol. He wasn't a very good patroller. What can I tell you? I've seen probably about, in this trail particular, about 4 or 5 rattlesnakes. I walked into almost a coyote. That wasn't the best. I was actually going to go. Right, I'm going to see if you can see this. Way over there, the mountains. I'm going to call it a mountain from where I live. And I was going to go way off into the wilderness, like just walk. I know I've done it before. I was going to walk like 2 and a bit miles out, which means you got to go back. And I figured that I'm on a VPN to protect my hopeful privacy. And also, I don't know how good the connection is in the wilderness, so I thought I'd do like a semi-hike residential. The ocean you can't see, but it's over there somewhere. Right, there's a bit of a steep part where I've got to climb. But any questions? Yes, walking is dangerous. I've slipped, I've fallen, scratched, ripped clothing, almost fell down the side. But hey, why not? No questions yet? No questions, okay. I'll carry on rambling. What was I saying? Questions. I'll give you some questions if you want, which I'll answer. But yeah, I almost stepped on a rattlesnake. It was vertical, horizontal, across my path, and it was hiding. New shoes, okay. It's gonna be a bit tricky. You're trying to trip me up, Mina. They're pretty good, they got good grips. Don't know if you can see that. But around here, I think there's a grave, an ominous grave. I see some hawks, eagles, and also roadrunners, which I never seen in my life until I was 40, maybe 39. It's pretty cold in the ocean at the moment. So in the Pacific, throughout the whole year, it's pretty cold. It looks nice, but it's pretty cold. And hopefully, by the way, if I sound like I'm out of breath, I am. And if it's not good quality because of that, I'll end the stream. So feel free to call me out. I like quality. What can I talk about? Okay. Everything. What do you do? There's usually eagles out here, but there's none today. Got people on the trail on their bikes. So there's also a coyote cam. Well, it's a camera, but they catch coyotes, and I watch that occasionally. And I'm like, here's my thing, right? Way over there, it just goes on and on and on. And that's where I was going to go. And I always wonder, how many coyotes, mountain lions, are around me at any given moment asleep? Because they're nocturnal. I try not to think about that when I'm way out, because that does creep me out, thinking there could be a mountain lion. And I know there are, because I've heard them at night. I heard it's like a banshee screaming. Or I presumed it was, but I looked it up and it sounded like a lynx as well. But I don't think we have lynx. Anyway, how far into the walk? I know I've done 1.5 miles. You might actually hear my walking machine around this part actually speak verbally. I don't know if it works with this gear or not. Okay, where is this little spot? I only occasionally go here, so I forget. Okay, here we go. Can I flip the camera? Is this a little bit ominous? See, there's a cross. And there's another one there. This one has some words. Should we see what it says? I've never actually saw this one before. Ah, it's the best hamster in the world. How nice. That's so awesome. Oh, I hear people. Who's this weird guy talking? What are you saying? It's hard to read with this sun. Polar bears. Have you ever seen a polar bear up close? I have. They are magnificently huge. They're like 12 feet tall if they were to stand. I'm sure. I'm not making it up. It looked like it. That would be good to have a walking buddy. I actually had my trainer who he's done his ACL, and we used to go for running ones, so maybe him in the future. Yeah, I've always been a fast walker. Got to get to places. Now, I did a bit of running earlier as well. Oh, good, the audio's holding up. It'd be kind of cool if I could bring comments on the screen like in my studio. Anyway, what was I saying? Any questions about self-development or hypnosis or anything? So Mark, you should have access to some new tracks in the program, and you know it as well, Mary. Check out the group. Okay, one question. Sometimes I listen to hypnosis tracks to the extent that I don't recall what's being said, and then I fall asleep and I wake up at the end. Yes. So there's two things there. The sleep ones, of course, you do the sleep ones, they're designed to fall asleep. But the interesting thing is, if you're listening to a day one and you wake up on the count up, like the 1 to 5, I'm not even going to say you're asleep. I'm going to say you're in a very, very deep trance because your unconscious mind followed my suggestions to bring you out. Because although I audibly change my tone, I still believe the unconscious mind is obviously listening and it's bringing you out of trance. So I think you were just in a very deep trance. But of course, the sleep ones, yes. I don't really, it sounds very insincere to you, the conscious mind, but I don't really care about you in the process. I care about you, but I care about the unconscious mind learning. So you can drift and dream, you can relax, you can listen, you can do whatever you like. So there you go. Good question. Can you hear that? I forgot, I got my AirPods still in. 2 miles. That means I've got to go 2 miles back, but we'll keep going. Well, I was going to do a loop, but we'll extend it. I listened last night and I wonder if it's really hearing and retaining. Sometimes the hypnosis ends up in whatever I'm dreaming about. Well, if the unconscious mind is bringing you into the dream or the subject, then I'd say definitely yes, because so the unconscious mind has prime directives. So for example, fight and flight response. It's in charge of our memories, are temporally and temporal based. It distributes energy, generates energy. It's intuitive and keeps things repressed for protection, brings things up for resolution. But one of the other ones is symbolic. So the unconscious mind runs by symbols. So if you're bringing it into the dream symbolically, which the dream is, then to me that means the unconscious mind is deepening it. So yeah, if it penetrates into the dream state, it's trying to resolve it. It's the day tracks, but countdown is the wake up. Yeah, there we go. So that to me means your unconscious mind is definitely listening, even if you're in a very deep hypnotic state. And you got to remember, the more you do something, the better you get. So you can actually go deeper and deeper. Oh, you're very welcome. So I'm going to read these. Usually I'll bring these up on my chat. I've got to turn around. But the wind. Hopefully this fluffy thing's helping So you said you're having a meltdown, but the nervous system regulation session helped. So that's awesome. So for people in my program, I just released a real big track, and unfortunately I can't release it until 2026 in January, which is a pain, but it's just scheduled that way. But it's all about a new process I've been practicing with my group for since we're doing it live, I'll tell you the process. But it's based on a guy called Jacobo, not very good at pronunciations. It's based on Neville Goddard, the field, and a statement. So here's the conscious process. When I'm on my hikes, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing it for me, I'm doing it for my people, and it sounds weird. So be okay with it being weird, but it's magical, in my opinion. I need to take my earbud out, it's creating sound. And also, pro tip, only have one earbud in when you're hiking. One for safety, two so you can pick up the nature. Anyway, question. Is it possible, we'll get into my new track, but the theory behind it in a second. Is it possible to memory come up in hypnosis from a previous lifetime? Great question. Now, who in the chat believes in past lives? You can say yes. Who believes they don't exist? You can say no. And I will satisfy both of you. So, for those, which one do we go for? Those non-believers in past lives. Now we'll go believers. There have been many studies from real kids recalling information, and even like birthmarks, where they come up with this story about who they were, or they recount, they don't really know. And there's been studies about it, where the data or the information they give can line up with some historical data of past lives. The problem is, it's not 100% correct data. Their verbiage, the words, the location, the year can be off. So that could point some evidence of past lives. Even through some forms of religion, like Hinduism, being Hindu, they believe in past lives. Supposedly, that might have been removed from the Bible. I'm not saying that's true, but that's what I heard. It could be a conspiracy. And there could be a continuation of spirit. Like we leave the vessel, the physical body. And I know loads of people have seen people who have passed away and they're like, that's not their person, their family member. It's like their energy's gone. So where does that energy go? It can't be created, or it can't be destroyed, or whatever that quote is. So yeah, maybe it's true. But if you're a non-believer, I can convince you. Because, what did I say? The unconscious mind is symbolic. If an event happened in our past, which the unconscious mind, doesn't have to be trauma, but the unconscious mind believes, you're not ready to know the actual event, it will come up with a scenario, a symbolic message, a theme. And what could that be? Representation of a past life. Because we run by metaphors. Every book you've read as a kid, every cartoon, movie, they're all metaphors. Pinocchio, Stop Lying, and all the other ones. So the unconscious mind presents a past life so you can really learn from it. Because if you just told the kids don't lie, what are they going to do? They're going to lie. But if you present a metaphor of when you lie, the nose grows, then you're going to absorb that more so. So that is why past lives could exist, but if they do not exist, treat it as a metaphor. So hopefully that answers the question regarding the unconscious process of it. Get an arm workout holding this up. Okay, what else? Oh, the process, the secret process. It's very simple, it's weird, and I want you to practice it every single day. And it's simply this. I remember when. That's it. So simple. I remember when. So let's play out some scenarios. Throughout the day, and especially before you go to sleep, because you're sending it into the unconscious, you go, I remember when, fill in the blank of the problem, the issue, ideally the core issue. So let's just do a generalized one. I remember when I felt anxiety, and now I'm so grateful that I'm free, confident, and happy. Well, I remember when I was in debt, and now I'm so grateful for the abundance of money or opportunity I have in my life. It's quite simply that simple. You can see a fellow, not a fellow cyclist, I'm not cycling. But we'll break it down. So when we do the whole, I remember when, you're pre-teaching the unconscious mind to change the timeline of your experience. You're bringing in the future outcome into the present and the present issue into the past. And it's simply pre-teaching. Now, if you go deeper into it, if you are that way of inclined of being like the energetic field or the universe or God, then you're shifting reality. But it's so simple. You just go, I remember when. And do you know what? I did this for my business. Oh, look, there's a, look, can we see this? Are they crows? Oh, that's me. Oh, let's turn around. Crows? They're not crows. They're, oh, it's me again. Oh, that's a crow. I'm hoping to see a UFO. Or a drone. Anyway, that was a crow, I think. Okay, we're going down the steep part, so this is where I slip. What a great hypnotic suggestion. This is where I slip. There's where I remain. I remember when I used to think I was going to slip, yet now I'm so grateful. I'm so sturdy going down this gravelly stone. How's the connection, by the way, going? Are we doing good? So we're not quite in the wilderness. But yeah, I remember when. Religiously practice it. I did it for my business, and it's so interesting about the mind, because when something really works, we tend to stop doing it. Like, we take it for granted. And I was doing it, like, on my hikes all the time, throughout the day. Specifically for my business. I'm looking down because this is really, whoa. Oh, okay, we've got that. Okay. Okay, I think we've done it. So, where was I? I was doing it for my business, promise you. Increased by 50%. Did I do things? This percentage, and now I'm so thankful that it's at this. But like I said, as humans, I dropped off. So I'm getting back into the flow of it. But yeah, what have we got? Comments. Mary feels so lazy watching me walk. That's okay. Here's another cool thing, right? So I did a study about this, about muscle growth, where they got the people, like a few sets of people, to play the keys of the piano, like da 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 da, just like two fingers. And then they got the other group just to imagine. This goes all into I Remember When as well. So thank you, Mary. Just to imagine doing that, da-da-da-da-da-da, not physically doing it. They noted that those who did it physically had an X percentage of growth muscle, just like by doing that thing every single day for like 10, 15 minutes. And then they measured the people, the group. Hey Zach, great to have you here. Welcome, all the way in Australia. So in the other group, who just visualized it, they measured it, and it wasn't as big as growth, but the muscle growth in the fingers increased by a percentage. And they've done numerous different studies. Dr. David Hamilton, he's in England, so I don't see him anymore, but I used to run monthly events with this girl, and we used to invite Hay House authors to speak. It's such a great business idea. I got to learn from people by setting up these groups. But he used to work in placebo testing in the pharmaceutical industry. And he's done numerous books on this, all scientific studies. So anyway, what does that mean to you, Mary? Does it mean you watching me walk and hike, maybe a little run later, is engaging your unconscious mind a little bit to get fitter? Same thing with the movies. I think I've talked about this way back. I was in the movies with this girl. It was a thriller one, it wasn't a horror. And this girl in front of me, like a few rows ahead, at this one point of the movie, just went, stop, don't do it. Like she was so immersed into the movie, she was trying to communicate with the character. And her neurology was showing up. And also, if you watch, for example, soccer, or the real name football in England, you'll see if a cross goes in, the crowd will jump up and try to header it, as if they're trying to be the person, because they're so immersed. And that also goes into the mind and body. The unconscious mind finds it very hard to distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. And that is why the I Remember When shifts your perception. It shifts the lens to the unconscious mind. And that means you see through a new lens. And also notice I said gratitude, or I'm so grateful, which means gratitude is one of the states of abundance. It's the opposite of scarcity or lack. So therefore it shifts your emotions into opportunity. Let's see. Oh my goodness, Zach. My favorite module. I think I told that to you. Absolutely crazy is where the unconscious mind comes out to play and tell you that it's changing. And I love that process. I do not have a live 360. Use the consent to SOS to friends if I run into a snake or a bobcat. No, I do not have that, unfortunately. I should look into it though. I should be looking down more. I blame Mina and you, Mary. As a coach, I teach to take responsibility, and you want to take responsibility. What else can I say? Does that make sense, by the way? How we lined it all up? And is this a boring stream? Because if it's a boring stream, the quality's not good. I don't have to do them. Usually I'm listening to something or thinking. But we've been walking on a live for 30 minutes. So we're going to do about 5 miles. Well, you won't. I will. But you will in your mind. Yes, you did hear your name. Okay, you said this is fun. That's good. we're going to go where I saw a coyote next. It's never a good sign when you see them in daylight, because it means they're either hungry, which is usually because of humans, residential areas. How many steps am I doing daily? I just do the 10,000. That's my goal, 10,000. I need to get in shape more. At the moment, like I've got a bad back. Had it last week again. And that stopped me doing a certain set of exercises, which was more like kind of like HIIT ones. Was it HIIT or HI? No, yeah, HIIT. High intensity. Because of the bad back, I can only do the walk and a bit of running, which I've just done. But I go to my trainer twice a week, and the other week, so I weigh 160 pounds, just under. I'm trying to get to 155. That was my best. But I managed to bench, and it's not that impressive, but it is to me. I benched 165. So that was like benching myself and a little bit more. See if we have any good things. Do you have boars there too? As in like the pig boar? I'm not sure. I know on the coast, which I found weird, they had squirrels. Never knew squirrels wanted to hang out on the beach. So yeah, there's like a bit of a residential area, but it's good for the connection. Anything else? Yeah, but please practice the I remember when. And hopefully the sound of these shoes, or the gravel's not too irritating. So this is where I saw the coyote. And you'll see this, right? Let's see if we can find them. I should have shown you some over there, but let's see some of the safety warnings. Oh no, that's not what we should. So I can't. Let's see. They kind of travel up here. And see how, like, maybe not this bit, but you get little burrows where they climb through. See if we've got any more. But yeah, there's where the coyotes would be. It's a bit hard to see. What about here? That's just a bit of a stream. Anything? Nothing. Bit like David Attenborough. Okay. Yeah, squirrels go on the beach. Okay, thank you, Mark. Yeah, there's going to be a few network drops here and there. Plus, I'm on a VPN as well. So technically, I think it means I'm in Los Angeles. The trail looks sandy, which is probably easier than the rocky one. Yeah. When it's too sandy, that's where I slip though. I want a ghost town. I went to a ghost town last year where you can pay for some seeds and sit and feed the chipmunks. They'll crawl over you. Wow. Interesting, yeah. Goats make sounds too. But this is like all just wilderness. I don't know if you can see over. There's a lot going on. My battery's draining pretty good, so that's good. Left with 100, now it's 66. Okay, anything else? Nothing else. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've got to say, I think. No trespassing.
Time 58.
Oh, look at that guy. Ready? Can you hear this?
57 seconds. Total distance 3.0 miles. Average pace 19 minutes 39 seconds per mile.
So that's pretty slow, 19 minutes, but it is a bit steep. And I'm talking continuously. Yeah, Sacramento is meant to be flat, isn't it? I was born on the flattest part of England, in the Fens. I remember the 14-volt audio when I first listened to your hypnosis, and since then I haven't missed a day. You're better than I... Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Linda. Don't get stuck without battery life. Yeah, I know. I had to drive here, so I'm probably like, I know where I'm going, so I'll be fine. And it's not dark yet. But we could keep going. I could go back. Should we keep going or not? Should we close the stream? I'm happy to keep talking. I can go back into the wilderness. Maybe we could do 6 miles. Maybe we can run. Oh, thank you so much. More on the way. Oh, this message has been held for review. What's all that about? Oh, that's okay. For some reason, YouTube censored you. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, the Aura. So I'm tracking on the Aura Ring as well, but I'm also using Map My Run. What's that sound? I think it's a stream. And they say if you can run and talk pretty well, your cardio is pretty good. So we're going to go back into the wilderness. It's not the wilderness, it's residential wilderness. No water. If I actually I brought. I used to always get those two words mixed up when I was a kid. If I was going into the real wilderness, I was going to take that. I was going to take a bit of safety precautions in case there was any mysterious animals. But no, I just left it in the car. I hydrate really well beforehand, so I'm pretty good. Guys, read any comments. Yeah, there's a nice trail. I do it ever so often. I've got to drive here. But it's kind of residential. You've got to watch out for spiders as well. They kind of go from tree to tree. And you don't want one of those. Could you show us a beach sunset sometime in the future? Yeah, I could do that. We go to one of the beaches near me. I remember when I was in Thailand doing a hypnosis session on the beach. That was really cool. Of recording, it wasn't live. Live didn't exist back then. And by the way, I can turn up my volume to that if it's better. That might be too loud. It's like the gain, that's back down. Going uphill again. Come on, let's run up the hill. Let's jog up the hill, not run. So any questions at all about self-development, about... Maybe that's not good for the audio. About anything. Otherwise, it's a bit of a one-way conversation. It's pretty steep. There's a puff. Phew. Maybe we'll go down here, out the wind. I've not already been this way. How do you maintain your focus with everything you're doing? I try to focus on one thing only. I hate, strong word. Oh, that's a dead end. Off limits. You can't see much. I hate multitasking, although I'm pretty good at it. But in business, I try to focus on one thing only. So you do it two ways. Say you had 5 things, and they're all a different multitude of scale, size. Like one could be a big job, one can be small. But say you got 5. You either attack the big one first, which will give you the most freedom back. But if that one's too daunting, do the quick small ones as quick wins. So that's what I try to do. And also, I try to live in the completion. A bit like the I remember when I taught you about the secret. Well, if you live in the completion of the action, you feel so good for having achieved it that you're telling your body, let's get to that place in reality. Is it hot here? It's like 76, I think. Yeah, I better not run with it. Thank you for that. This is how we test. See if it... I should not be running on audio anyway. Who wants to see an old person panting? This is bad enough as it is. I don't like this. I like sound quality. Okay, we're back. We're back. So, I don't know if you can see this. I'll switch the camera. There is, I don't know if you can see, I can't see in this sun. There's a trail up there, which I've done. And that is crazy high. I think with the ups and downs, it went up like 900 feet. Yeah, that's true. Get those quick wins in, gives you belief, certainty, and a momentum. So, has anyone ever heard of Dave Ramsey? Regardless of how you see him. But his process is like the snowball of getting out of debt. So like just pay off. I think it's literally just pay off all the small things all at once as quickly as possible. And it just then creates that momentum. So you can kind of do the same thing. I do like doing the big thing first because I'm usually pretty confident in it. But if there is any doubt or it's like paralyzing you, it does give you a bit of a win. So strange. I was having this exact conversation with myself this morning when thinking about priorities. There we go. Instinct. When living in the end feeling, how much does jumping in and out of that feeling affect the outcome? Oh, that's a nice question. I don't know really. Let's brainstorm this out. Why? I always like to think like, how could it also be a positive? Because we have to live in the present. I think that's not an eagle. I'm trying to show you an eagle. Because we've got to bring in the now. We've got to live in the now. Can't just live in the future. So I think it's about having a harmony and balance between them. Because you don't want to be deluded. Sometimes it's kind of be good to be a little bit deluded in like how successful you can be. Because usually we delude ourselves in what we cannot believe we can do. They always say, who defines what realistic is? It's only really ourselves. But anyway, I digress. I would say if you can do it throughout the day, you just catch yourself for a minute or two by going, I remember when, and problem, and now I'm so grateful, thankful, happy for outcome to have happened. And then go on with your day. Just do it throughout the day as and when you can. Because then you're changing your emotional state anyway. And then I would do it in the evening, going to sleep, before maybe listening to a track. If you wake up in the night, go ahead and do that as you go back to sleep. That's what I do. I remember when those dogs were barking, and then they just settled. Silence. How cool is that? See, it works. Could be I was walking away from them, but I can still hear them in the background. Almost thought it was going to be magical. And then that's what I would do. Oh, and then in the morning, I tend to do it just before I like wake up, just waking up, before I get out of bed. The crows are out. I go ahead and do that process. Yeah. So if we think about the beginning, the end of the mind, have the end in mind. It's the analogy, I'm going to say I probably didn't, but I remember saying it way back in the day. It's like a satellite navigation system. What do you do first? You put in your destination, and then the computer sat-nav will find the quickest route to it. Most people who are anxious are living from the anxiety, which is the absolute opposite of the destination. It's like going to the satellite GPS navigation system and putting every location you don't want to visit first in the expectation that you'll get to your ideal destination. That's never going to work. That's just a bird. I thought it was a roadrunner. Okay, now we're going up high again. The tricky bit. Any questions? No questions. Other questions? So I've been live for 50 minutes now talking and hiking. Semi-hike. Some crows. Mark says, I always say, directions are no good unless you know where you are now. That's true as well. Absolutely. Like, if you want to have a goal, you got to define the outcome and then work backwards. A lot of people start and don't think about the outcome and just start to go forward. Have the outcome, know where you are, and then work backwards, re-engineer it. I've been trying to help someone with their negativity, but it's bringing me down. She just pops back into herself. I need to protect myself, right? Yeah. So if I were you, if you want to still help, do the I remember when on her. I remember when my friend was negative, and now I'm so thankful that she's happy, and she made that transformation. Sounds weird, but I know it works. It kind of goes into the Ho'oponopono stuff. We're all interconnected. So do it for other people. So when I'm doing the I remember whens, I do it for my family, my friends, people in my program. And it just makes you feel better. But yeah, you gotta protect your home. You get to choose who you surround yourself with. You can be the example from a distance. You can imagine them in your mind getting better. But at the end of the day, we all must take responsibility for where we are. Not for how things happen, but where we are right now. Rather being an effect, we become the cause. Okay, if we can make this an hour-long one for a second stream, that's pretty good going. Nice. So we've got 8 more minutes. We get to the hour. And I think I've answered everyone I can see. It's a bit hard because the sun is going right onto the screen. And I don't want to walk backwards. Seven minutes. Any more questions before we complete this stream? Any observations? That I remember when I used to do X, Y, Z, and now I'm so thankful and so happy, full of gratitude. But I'm now fill in the blank, or you do it for other people. A friend asked me, if we jump timelines, how can we be sure we maintain our identity? Do you have any thoughts? So a friend asked me this. So there's this notion of obviously parallel universes, like Miko, can't pronounce his surname, Mikachku. He's really big into it. He did a good book. I think it's just called like Parallel Universes or something. But yeah, there's more and more simulation talk, parallel universe talk. And then they got people who say they want to be able to jump timelines. And I was telling a friend, I was like, let's just say that's true, right? That you can jump timelines. What's the other you going to do? You've just swapped them back into your life. And I think that's a little bit rude. Because you're not going to be there with this other you on that timeline. So in order for you to go there, they must go back into your timeline. And now you put them in a position of a timeline that maybe, say for example, you wanted to jump a timeline into the most abundant you. If, say, there's all theory, right? So we're having fun here. If you wanted to jump in a timeline where you had the best health, relationship, money, and abundance, and say in this present timeline, you don't have that. Well, if you were to somehow jump timelines, you're pushing them, the person who did all the work, got all the success, into our timeline, which is not the one we like, because that's why we wanted to leave a timeline. So I think that's a little bit mean. If you're able to jump timelines, and what if you jump in the timeline which is worse? If like gravity's different. My aura battery is draining now, so So I'd be very cautious. Maybe like you're like, oh, I'm gonna jump this timeline, but then there's another timeline who's going, well, I'm gonna jump into your timeline because their timeline's worse. They want your timeline, so now you've gone back into their timeline. So I'm not too convinced it's a good idea. There was a TV show a few years ago. It was pretty good. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about timeline. But in that scenario, all the other people on the timeline wanted to join one timeline. Sometimes you feel like someone's walking behind you, you hear it. Yeah, there's a UFO up there. Don't know if you can see it. I remember when I wondered what your hiking trails look like, and now I've seen 2 of them. There we go, it worked. You're very welcome. So yeah, be cautious of timelines if you're into the parallel. I just say make your timeline great. If we're talking theoretic, I can't even talk now. Maybe I do need to hydrate. Theoretical. Okay. We are 3 minutes away in 5 seconds time. But we've done an hour walk, hike. Hit the thumbs up, by the way. Hit the thumbs up. And after this stream is finished, 1 hour.
20 minutes, 24 seconds. Total distance, 4.0 miles. Average pace.
And I'm a mile
20
away
minutes,
from my car
5
yet.
seconds per mile.
So that's about 5 miles. That's pretty good. Timelines, that is. Oh, is that the TV show, Timelines? Is that what it was called? Yeah, he's got a good actor in it. He always looks sad, though. Yeah, I saw that the message deleted. Okay. We got 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Is that a Roadrunner? There might be a Roadrunner somewhere in there. Well, I can't see what I'm looking at. That's me. Yeah, it was an interesting show. I don't know if it got cancelled though. People recommend me TV shows and I look it up and then all the Internet Movie Database reviews like, it cancelled. So I'm not going to watch it if it's been cancelled. So check if it's been cancelled first. I can't remember if there's a conclusion. Right, we've got 1 minute, 20 seconds left, the hour of walking. And I did a mile beforehand. So we've been walking, was it 3 miles together now? Or 2 miles? I did 1 mile. I don't know. No snakes to be seen, but here's what I was telling you about the coyotes. They kind of create these little trails. I should have showed you more earlier. They kind of burrow down because humans aren't doing that. I don't know if you can see very well. These little pathways. Like, oh, that's a bit of a pathway. That's a creepy tree. Look at that for a nice tree. I called it creepy. I shouldn't call it creepy. It's a very pleasant tree. It's like it doesn't know, it's just throwing its hands up in the air. I don't know. I don't know. 3 miles. Okay, that's cool. We did 3 miles together. Congratulations, everybody. We did it. I used to live in the Mojave Desert. I want to go to Joshua Tree. I've not been to Joshua Tree. But with that, my friends, we did an hour. So thank you all for being with me. I'm going to get off the trail, get more residential, and get some hydration. So after the video stops, leave a comment. Let's get in the algorithms. Say, yeah, I want to do more live streams. I might even go tomorrow. Who knows? We've got to get out in the sun. Get the vitamin D. No sunglasses. Stops the vitamin D. You're very welcome. And I'll try and think more interesting things to say on the next one. So you can hear if I'm getting closer to residential because you hear the cars. There you go, there's your kind of workout. There used to be, up here real quick, let me show you this. I'm gonna hold this while I run. How nice is this up here? I've got my keys in my pocket. Okay, ready? I've not actually been up here, but I saw this. Are you ready for it? Before we go. I feel like I'm in a Blair Witch movie. Attached to a tree. Hopefully I'm not going to be in a Blair Witch movie. But that'll be a good way to end it. So thank you all. I'll speak to you all either on Monday on the live stream, or if I go out, maybe a new location tomorrow. Maybe a whole new location I've never been to. So leave a comment, hit the thumbs up after this. All right, many thanks and goodbye.